How did a mortal man manage to kidnap death itself? Picture a battlefield where soldiers are decapitated, but they just keep standing back up. Imagine a world where the sick stop dying, where grandfathers stop aging, where the natural order of the universe completely breaks. For weeks, nobody died. Not a single person. And it wasn't because of a miracle or a blessing. It was because the King of Corinth, a guy named Sisyphus, literally locked the god of death in a closet. You've definitely seen the picture of the guy pushing the boulder up the hill. It's the ultimate symbol of useless effort, but you probably don't know why he's doing it. Most people think he was just a bad guy who got punished, but the truth is way crazier. The boulder isn't just torture, it's a distraction, because Sisyphus was the only human being clever enough to threaten the stability of Olympus itself. To understand how he pulled off the greatest heist in history, you have to understand who Sisyphus actually was. He wasn't a warrior, he wasn't a demigod, he was just a really, really slippery guy. He was the King of Corinth, and honestly, he was a terrible person. He killed guests for money, he betrayed secrets, he was a menace. But his biggest mistake was snitching on Zeus. Zeus had kidnapped a river nymph, standard Zeus behavior, and her father, the river god Asopus, was looking for her. Sisyphus saw the whole thing. He goes to Asopus and says, "Hey, I'll tell you where your daughter is if you give my city a permanent spring of fresh water." Deal made. Zeus gets busted. And Zeus does not like getting busted. So Zeus decides, okay, Sisyphus has to go. He doesn't just send a lightning bolt, he sends Thanatos, death himself, the hooded figure, the inevitable end, the guy you literally cannot run from. Thanatos shows up at the palace in Corinth with a pair of unbreakable chains. He tells Sisyphus, "It's time, put these on." Now 99% of people would just cry or beg. Sisyphus? He looks at the chains and plays dumb. He says, "Wow, those are incredible craftsmanship. How do they actually work? Like, do they lock automatically? I'm a bit confused." Thanatos, who is probably used to people screaming, is caught off guard. He thinks, "Okay, dumb mortal, let me show you." Thanatos puts the cuffs on his own wrists to demonstrate, and Sisyphus locks them. He throws Thanatos into a heavy bronze chest and locks that too. Suddenly, death is trapped. This is the part of the myth that blows my mind. Down on the battlefield, Ares, the god of war, is having a terrible time. He's hacking at people, spearing them, crushing them, and they just won't die. They're groaning, they're mangled, but the soul won't leave the body because the guy who collects the tickets is locked in Sisyphus's basement. War becomes boring. Sacrifices stop working. The fates are furious because their threads aren't being cut. The entire system crashes. Ares eventually gets so annoyed that he storms Corinth, rips the closet open, frees Thanatos, and hands Sisyphus over to him personally. Now this is the moment where you'd think it's over. Sisyphus is dead. He's being dragged down to the underworld. Game over, right? Wrong. This was just plan A. Sisyphus had a plan B that was even more audacious. Before Ares showed up, Sisyphus told his wife, Merope, "Listen to me. When I die, do not bury me. Do not put a coin in my mouth for Charon. Do not pour libations. Throw my body naked into the public square. Treat me like garbage." Merope is confused, but she agrees. So Sisyphus's soul arrives at the river Styx. He has no coin, so he can't pay the ferryman. He's waiting on the shore, causing a scene, demanding to speak to the manager. He finally gets an audience with Persephone, the queen of the underworld, and he puts on the performance of a lifetime. He falls to his knees and says, "My queen, look at this disgrace. My wife, she didn't bury me. She threw my body in the street. How can I rest in peace when my own family disrespects the gods like this? It's an insult to you. He plays on their ego. He knows the gods care about rituals more than anything. Persephone is horrified. She says, "That is terrible." Sisyphus says, "Let me go back up, just for 3 days. I'll scold my wife, force her to give me a proper funeral, and then I'll come right back down, I promise." It sounds reasonable. Persephone looks at Hades. Hades shrugs. They let him go. Sisyphus walks right out of the gates of hell. He goes back to his body, takes a deep breath of fresh air, and immediately grabs his wife and says, "Okay, we're not doing the funeral thing, let's go have dinner." He doesn't go back. He stays. He lives for years. He grows old. He watches the sun rise and set, laughing at the fact that he is the only man to ever scam the gods twice. Eventually, though, old age gets him. You can trick Thanatos, but you can't trick biology forever. He dies, for real this time, and goes back down. And Hades is waiting. And Hades is not happy. This brings us to the boulder. We always see the boulder as simple cruelty. Push rock up, rock rolls down, repeat. Pain, sweat, failure. But think about it from Hades' perspective. Sisyphus is the smartest, trickiest mortal to ever live. If you just throw him in a fire pit, he'll probably talk the demons into a union strike. If you put him in a cell, he'll pick the lock. You have to keep him busy. You have to give him a task that requires 100% of his focus, every single second of every single day. If he stops pushing, the rock crushes him. He has no time to think. He has no time to plot. He has no time to trick anyone. The punishment wasn't about the physical pain. It was about paralyzing his mind. It was the only way the gods could feel safe from him. So, knowing that Sisyphus was clever enough to break the fundamental laws of life and death, do you think he's really struggling with that rock? Or do you think he's just biding his time, waiting for the gods to look away for 1 second so he can launch Plan C? Let me know what you think in the comments.